Hello and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the end of the world with you. We're diving into episode 5. And I know there's a lot of you guys who are like, Topher, what about episode 4? You can't just jump from 3 to 5. And well, there was an unfortunate series of events where I accidentally ended up deleting my video recording files for episode 4. I thought they were all uploaded to my Google Drive so that I could clear off space on my computer. They were not, and it is a sad face, but they are gone. And yeah, so, but basic idea of my thoughts on the episode. For the most part of it, I was still very, very hard on Ritsu. Very much of the same. Sorry, I dropped my chapstick. Very much of the same thought process as I had been for the first couple episodes, where I'm like, I just need him to take accountability for his actions. I don't need him to necessarily apologize for sleeping with other people when he was with Matsumi, because like I've said a dozen times at this point, there was a severe lack of communication between the two of them. They were on two different pages about the nature of the relationship, so it was never clarified, it was never established. We thought we were on one kind of relationship, we thought we were in another kind of relationship, so it was an unfortunate miscommunication, unfortunate series of events, but I can understand and I can let that part of it go for Ritsu for the most part. There's still the part of it where it's like, well, even if Ritsu was coming into this relationship expecting it to be this open free-for-all, I'm just gonna be who I am and sleep with whoever I want to sleep with, there's still that part of me that's like, Ritsu, you are very aware. Like, before you guys slept together the first time, you're like, my gift is I know when people are in love with me. You knew that Matsumi was in love with you, and you probably knew that he was pursuing an exclusive monogamous kind of relationship with you. So while you have this sort of out, you have this excuse where it's like, hey, I thought we were in this whatever other kind of relationship, I thought you were just gonna let me be me sort of thing. You're using that as an excuse for why you were okay with sleeping with other people. Still, at your heart of heart, I feel like you know what kind of person Matsumi was and what kind of relationship he was looking for. So I still feel like he had some level of knowledge that what he was doing was going to hurt Matsumi's feelings. But I will let that part slide because, again, we did not end up having an actual conversation about it to fully establish the roles in our relationship. But what I need him to take accountability for is the whole taking pictures without permission and then threatening to use those pictures to out somebody. I don't remember if it was episode 3 or episode 4 that I went on this huge tirade about people outing people. I'm hoping that was episode 3 because I talked a hell of a lot and I don't want to have to recreate that conversation again. But yeah, I just need him to take accountability. So I spent a lot of episode 4 still feeling in that same boat, especially when it came towards the end of the episode when Matsumi got a call from his mom, who was basically apologizing for not being a great mother, apologizing for everything that she did to him, and asking him, begging him to come and help her because she is sick, her back is hurt, and the world is ending. She's running out of food and water, and she just needs somebody to help her survive the last couple days that they have on Earth. And Matsumi was going. He was like, okay, I'm going. And Ritsu was like, well, if you're not going to go with us, then I'm just going to go live my best life. And I'm not going to take Yuma here to go reunite with his family. And it's like, oh, that's a shitty thing to do. And I was livid. I'm like, how selfish can you be? Oh my God. But then once we got to the beach and they started having conversation, I eased up on Ritsu a little bit. I eased up on him because through their conversation, we discovered that Matsumi, even though he said he was going to go with his mom or go take care of his mom, he did not want to. He didn't want to. he thought about it, and the only reason he was going to do it was out of this sort of like feeling of obligation, like it's the right thing to do to go and take care of my sick mom, this, that, and the other. Not that it's something he wanted to do, because again, the nature of the relationship was not good, and he had already dismissed her from his life long before this. So even though she was remorseful and apologized, I'm sure he appreciated the apology, but he still did not want to go see her. So in that instance, it felt like Ritsu kind of forcing Matsumi's hand into not doing something that Matsumi didn't want to do. And in that instance, I'm like, okay, maybe he's not terrible. Still need him to take accountability for his actions, but maybe he's not terrible. So I still need him to take accountability, but I eased up on him a little bit. So I'm like, okay, we will see. We will see where things go. But yeah, we're going to dive into episode 5. I've talked enough, so let's dive in and just see what happens here. Baby, you good? I mean, obviously you're not good, but... Maybe he is a miracle child like they were saying. Hold on. You about to tap into his mutant powers or something? Hey, Storm. Better call up Charles Xavier. Okay, this was a very interesting episode, and my head is like going in quite a few different directions, just like brainstorm like what could be happening, where could this story go, and it's a direction I was not expecting. I will say that there were a lot of things that I was not expecting coming into the episode that happened, that I was like, you know what, I'm okay. I'm interested with where this storyline is going to go. So firstly, we started off with them making it to this hotel that actually still has power, has a working generator, and they are out here accepting money as currency, which is like fantastic. Ritu's like, if there's one thing I got right now, is money. Here you go. Take, blah, blah, blah. So thankfully that's the case, because as we saw later in the episode, there are many people, which seem to be like the more logical thing in my mind, who are not exchanging goods for money anymore, but they're exchanging goods for other kinds of goods, bartering, that sort of system. But thankfully we found this place that is still accepting money, so great. We've got a nice hotel room. We're gonna camp out for the night, and then when we get there, outside the door, we're hearing this ruckus. So we open the door, peek outside to see what's going on, and there's this man who is hassling this woman, and it's like, okay, it's not great, but Yuma gets a peek at her. It's like, oh my god, I forget what name he said, but something with an M, the name of the pop star that is his idol. It's like, here, come. And, they saved her from the man, and the man, I guess, didn't try for very long. He's like, hey, let me in. And then we just kind of fade his audio out, and then he just disappeared into the night, I suppose. But we come to discover that this is actually not the idol that we thought committed suicide, because she actually did. This is her sister, her younger sister, and she's here for college, and she's just trying to get back home since the world is ending, and she's been hitchhiking. This is like the third or fourth time this sort of thing has happened. It's like, Lord, girl, you are brave. And then Matsumi's like, well, maybe it's the clothes you're wearing. I'm like, baby, don't you you even start trying to spin this narrative. We're not gonna have that kind of talk on this channel, because I don't care if she was out there in nothing but a G-string and some pasties talking about, hey, can you please give me a ride? What someone is wearing does not in any way, shape, or form entitle anybody else to their body. It does not entitle anybody to touch them without permission, without consent. It does not entitle anybody to be lewd and lascivious. It does not entitle anybody to anything. If I decide that I want to go outside in nothing but my birthday suit, that entitles nobody the right to do a damn thing to me. Okay? Okay. So I don't want to start spreading this narrative, oh, you're wearing these enticing clothes, so how can men control themselves? Tell men to learn to fucking control themselves, okay? Tell them to learn to control their urges, control their desires, and take responsibility for their actions, okay? You're getting... no, let's not spin that narrative. But, you know, we discovered that she was... Sorry, that's just one of those things that irritates me. Discovered that she was little sister and basically asked, hey, can I stay in this hotel for the night? And they had agreed. Basically, baby boy was... He was like, yes, she can stay. And he was having this big just moment where he's given down his life story, you know, his idol, her sister did what she did. And then shortly after that, his crush at school rejected him, and he just felt like the world, nothing made any sense anymore. And he's like, I don't even know why I'm alive. And now all of a sudden this opportunity has presented itself. He's like, this is why I'm here. This is my mission. My mission is to get you to your family, to deliver you to your family before the world ends. This is why I was put on this planet. So, you know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Yay. And it's like, sweet boy. Sweet boy, I love you. I love you. He feels so not naive, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like when they were in the car later in the episode and she was explaining why she didn't want them to tell Yuma that she was born male. She's like, you know, look at the way he looks at me. His eyes sparkle, this, that, the other. Like he has this sort of just like youthful naivete, that youthful look at love and romance where it's like, oh my God, there's this fully grown adult ass person here with me, and she's being nice to me, and she's smiling at me, and she's holding my hand. So that doesn't necessarily mean she loves me, but you know, that sort of puppy dog love, schoolyard adoration sort of thing where it's like, it's innocent, it's coming from a very innocent place, and it's sweet. He's sweet. He is a sweet boy, that Yuma. But yeah, so they decided we're going to take her back to her family. She can stay with us. Great. Then the next day, Matsumi makes a discovery that, she has the interesting ability to urinate while standing. And it's like, well, this was an interesting choice to include in this series. And at first I'm like, where are we gonna go with this storyline exactly? Because one thing I can say about a lot of the Japanese series I've reacted to thus far is they don't really tend to include new characters or details like that without it serving some sort of narrative purpose. You know how sometimes you'll watch a series or a movie and like this plot point will come up and then you're like, okay, this is gonna mean something, and then it just never comes up again in the rest of the series. Like it's just a lost potential or something. I feel like a lot of the Japanese series I've reacted to are really good about not introducing stuff that they don't plan to make some sort of important part of the series. So I was intrigued to see where they're going to take this plot point, because I don't know that they said that later in the episode they're about 3 hours away from her home. So I don't think that they're going to make the next 3 episodes last 3 hours. So I don't foresee her character being with us for too much longer. But I was just curious to see what this plot point was going to introduce and how it was going to affect the storyline. And then as we saw later, when we were stopped to potentially get some water, and the water barterer wanted to be gross and pervy and disgusting and just like I hate that sort of mentality where he's like, at first he was fine. Before she came into the picture, it's like, yeah, I'm not accepting money. I'm exchanging for other goods because, yeah, the meteor is going to destroy a lot of the earth, but it's not going to be completely destroyed. We might go into an ice age, so we'll have all these supplies. This, that, the other people are hoarding, doomsday hoarders, which, in this instance makes sense. But then, she came out of the car and he's like, oh, who is this? Oh, like he's not doing those actions, but that's pretty much what my eyes are seeing him doing. Cause it's like all of a sudden he just switched into this extremely disgusting, pervy, horny old man. And I'm like, sir, control yourself. Like, you literally have supplies here that once the meteor hits are probably going to be some of the most valuable commodities in the world. Even before the meteor hits, these supplies are in high demand. You have like some prized possessions right here, right now, and you're literally out here talking about, I'm so pent up. I will give you all of this water and all of these cases and this, that, the other if you just touch it. I'm like, sir, just go around the corner and give yourself your own little rub and tug. Like what difference is it gonna? It's not. Is it gonna cure the blind? Is it gonna make the media? Are you gonna? If she does it for you, if she touches you, are you gonna shoot so hard that you're gonna shoot into outer space and destroy the meteor? Like, what's so special about the fact that she would have to do it versus you just going off to the corner and doing it yourself? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand, sir. It doesn't make any sense to me. And he's getting very grabby and handsy. And I'm like, I need you to calm down, sir. She already agreed that she would come and do it. So please stop breaking my jerk wrist, please. Let me, like, and if you want a quality HJ, I need you to don't break the tools, but B, like, just please, why are you gross? Why are you gross and pervy? Like, I would have no issues in that instance because, like I said, before he even introduced the idea, I'm like, oh, he kind of cute. How you doing? So now this cute man wants to not only give me supplies and water that I need, but also I get to touch his thing. Okay, fine. This sounds like a win-win to me, but that's me. She is not subscribed to that mentality right now. She's not subscribed to that thought process right now because she has no attraction to this man, and he is being a pervert who's presenting. Like, if he presented the idea to me before I had my attraction to him, I'd be like, ew, gross, please go away. No. But like, if it were just happenstance, like, hey, how you doing, mister? And, we were striking up a conversation and one thing led to another. Like, okay, that's fine for me. But what's fine for me is not fine for her, So, like, he just felt very off-putting, and I did not enjoy him. And clearly Yuma did not enjoy him either because that basically set off this Super Saiyan Avatar state mode where he's just screaming and screaming and screaming. The rain and the thunder is coming and the lightning and just sets the camp on fire. And I'm gonna go, oh goodness. And one interesting thing about, long roundabout way to basically answer the question I was posing as to why they would introduce this Meguru character with this storyline and what relevance it's really going to have to the rest of the plot, is they earlier in the episode when Matsumi and Ritsu, which, God, I haven't even talked about them yet. I will get to them in a minute, don't worry. But earlier in the episode when they were having a conversation when they were lying on the floor, they were talking about Yuma. They're like, maybe he is a miracle boy. And Ritsu was like, yeah, well, I wish he'd hurry up and bring the miracle and make this meteor go away. And I was joking along with them, like, yeah, it would be nice. Maybe he is our, miracle who's going to make the magic that I was hoping for. That's going to make this a happy ending, or at least make us still be alive in the end of the series. But that paired with the whole Super Saiyan outburst, paired with what Matsumi was saying there at the end, where it's like, I think that was coming from Yuma. You can laugh at me if you want, but I think that was coming from Yuma. It makes me feel like they are trying to set up a completely different storyline for Yuma than I was expecting. And now thinking back on some of the stuff we've already seen, just like the general series of events, because Yuma took the medicine that he thought was going to end everything before he even heard about the world ending. He had no idea that the world was going to end until after he woke up and Ritsu and Matsumi were like, hey, look at the news, the world's ending. So first, his favorite idol ends it for herself. Then his crush at school rejects him. And he's feeling so hopeless and destitute at that point that he wants to end it for himself. So one of the things going in my head right now, having that timeline of events and him taking the medicine, not knowing that the world was going to end, and now seeing all of this Super Saiyan action Avatar state, I don't know how heavy into the supernatural we are planning to lean, because we haven't really dived into any sort of supernatural element in this show at all thus far. So I don't know how much we're going to lean into that. Maybe the whole storm and the lightning was just a coincidental timing sort of thing. But I feel like they're setting things up to try to illustrate some sort of point that Yuma is special for some reason. So one thing that I'm thinking could be a series of events that happened is Idol does what she does. Crush rejects. He feels hopeless, destitute to the point where he wants to end it all. And whatever power is inside him, whatever latent power is lurking inside him, I think he may have unintentionally made some sort of wish or manifestation to the universe that brought this comet into existence, because he was already ready to end it for himself. He was taking the medication so that he could end it for himself. So I'm thinking maybe he had the thought of, while he was in that just depressive state, he had that thought where it's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want this anymore. I can't stand this. I just need to end it. I want to end it for myself. I want it all to be over. And manifested something in the universe unintentionally that turned out to be this comet to come and end it. Almost like a genie's wish in certain things, where it's like you've got to be so detailed with the wishes you give a genie or someone who's granting you some sort of, wish or whatever, because if you're not 100% detailed down to the last little nitty-gritty detail, it can be interpreted in any way, shape, or form and just have these unseen adverse consequences. So like, I could have a genie said, okay, you've got 3 wishes, and I say, I wish for $1 million, but I don't specify how I got it, where I am when I get it, what kind of this, that. Like, I don't specify certain details, and the genie can just take whatever liberties they want, depending if they're feeling benevolent or malevolent. They can take whatever liberties they want, and all of a sudden they zap me into a bank vault, and it's like, yes, I have $1 million. I have no way to get it out of this bank vault. I have no way to get out of this bank vault until the police discover that I am in this bank vault, and then they arrest me. And then it's like, okay, well, shit. So I had $1 million, but I had no way to actually do anything with it because I didn't specify exactly the details that I wanted to do. Or similar thing, like if you've seen Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, when Jafar came back as a genie, and this little crook man was like, I want all of this treasure or whatever. And then Jafar just zaps him to the bottom of the ocean, where there's this sunken treasure chest, but now he's underwater at the bottom of the ocean and he can't breathe. That's like, okay, I gave you what you asked for, you didn't specify. So maybe it's something like that, where Yuma expressed a desire to just end it all, thinking of himself, but with these latent, unrefined powers that he has, expressed this wish, and it manifested into something that was going to end it all, not on the level that he had intended or had thought, but wasn't specific with that wish. That's kind of an idea of where my brain was going with some of the little bits and pieces that we were having there. Don't know if that's it. Maybe I'm reaching, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But as far as our main ship, Ritsu and Matsumi, for the most part of the episode, they played kind of a secondary role. We focused a lot more on Yuma and Meguru this episode, but they did have some really nice moments that really have me excited about things in the future. Mainly the conversation they were having when they were laying on the floor in the hotel room, because one of the things I talked about, I don't remember if it was episode 3 or episode 4, was I had questions about Ritsu and basically what his deal was, why what the timeline was of him having this medication that he gave Yuma, what his reasoning was for taking it, because if we remember, again, Yuma did not know the world was ending when he took the medicine. And when Yuma woke up, he was like, hey, you said we were going to take this together. You lied to me. La 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 la. Which tells me that Ritsu was going to take this medicine before the world was going to end, or before he knew the world was going to end. So then the question is, why? What happened? Let's explore this. And Matsumi was starting to ask some of those probing questions, trying to explore, trying to get those answers. And Ritsu just wasn't about it. He's like, I'm tired. It's late. We've still got 5 days left. If you wanna know more, you just gotta stay with me to the end. And Matsumi's like, girl, what does it look like I'm gonna do? I ain't got no other choice at this point. But it makes me excited / fearful for my emotional state that a very deep emotional conversation is going to take place. And I feel like that conversation is going to be the conversation I've needed. Like I keep saying, so throughout the last 5 episodes, I need Ritsu to take accountability for his actions. Again, not necessarily about the whole sleeping with other people, but the other actions that we've already talked about. I need him to take accountability for it and the way that it has affected Matsumi's life. I need him to take accountability for these particular things. So I think that this deep conversation we're going to get into not only is going to give me some backstory about Ritsu and give me a little bit more, flesh out that character a little bit more, but also lead to conversation with him and Matsumi that will get us to the point that I need, which is that taking ownership of what I did and truthfully apologizing. Not apologizing just because you feel like, okay, his feelings are hurt and I need to apologize so he'll stop being sad or whatever, but genuinely apologizing from your heart, hey, I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that I did this. I'm sorry I made you feel this way. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm optimistic that conversation is going to be the one that I need in order to really hop aboard this ship, kind of reuniting before the world ends. If it ends, because again, we've got Magic Boy Yuma over here who might be the key. He might be the 5th element in disguise, and then whoop! Now we got a laser that's going to destroy the meteor coming. Who knows? But yeah, I'm excited to see where the next couple episodes take us, and I'm just going to dive into them because there's only 3 of them. They're relatively short, and I don't work for the next 2 days, so I can record for as long as I want to tonight. So I'm going to dive into the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Lots of just babbling. Sorry. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all of my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah.
time we had